The event is appropriately named All Aboard to Walt Disney's Marceline. I'm hoping to get lots of video for you guys and just experience it and report back and let you know what it's like. The city really is a big deal if you are a Disney fan. Good morning! It's the big day. I'm looking outside. It's looking pretty windy, so I'm gonna grab my sweater. The buses leave in about a half hour, so I'm gonna run down the lobby, try to see if they have anything for breakfast, and then we hop on the buses and get to our first destination. Let's go. Here is my bag. I got this bag in Hong Kong, and my gelatoni from last spring, and then my keychain from D23 Brazil. I'm just walking over to the other hotel. Looks like buses are already loading. It is windy, but wow, it's a beautiful, beautiful day. You can hear trains in the distance. Truly country vibe going on here. I do have my jacket. It's not chilly, but the wind, I think, is giving a little bit of a cool feel, so I'm glad I have this. When I got on board, they gave me a little packet. Not sure what's in it. Look on the back.
And there are some little tidbits that we put together. So in your packet, the first thing we'll have is the map of the town. It is an extremely small town, pretty much like 3 blocks total. So they're going to park the buses at different spots. Our bus is going to park in front of the boyhood home and the schoolhouse. The schoolhouse is a one-room schoolhouse. It's very tiny. Not everyone will be able to go through it at the same time. So as we park, we may want to filter between the boyhood home and the schoolhouse, and you can kind of filter between the two. So you're going to be free to go to the different things at your own pace, and then you'll be back. We will keep our bus where we let you off. Okay? We originally had talked about moving, but the town is very small and it's hard to move these buses around, and so you will board this bus back. So there are some little tidbits of connections with Walt, with John J. Pershing. They were not ever, even though they had little things that connect them, they never actually met.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We are at our first stop. We are at the John J. Pershing childhood home and schoolhouse. Basically, Walt Disney and him had a little bit of an entwined life. They both served in the war. John J. Pershing was a general, though, so he was a bit older, but Walt did end up driving him around as a chauffeur in the war. So they kind of just share some history. They both are from Missouri. I guess this is like the first time they've added this part of the tour to the D23 trip, just to give a little more backstory and life in Missouri and some local roots, I guess. So let's explore.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I guess unless you're very interested in this particular person, I'm not too sure why you would want to be exploring it. If you're really here for Disney, I'm not sure this is super worth spending a lot of your time. I guess it's more American history, but I really don't care about this stuff. I'm much more interested in Disney, and I would much rather have an extra hour in Marceline, seeing directly things Walt was doing and involved in, rather than this adjacent information. So I honestly would almost rather just drive directly to Marceline myself and skip this whole section. He's kind of cute. And that's about it to see here, honestly. Like I said earlier, it's not my thing. It's just very specific and niche American history in Missouri, with very few ties to Disney. I appreciate them trying to connect more local roots, but I even talked to a few other people and they were also kind of over it. I think we're going to leave in about 20 minutes, but I'm just going to head back to the bus. Not really too much else I want to see.
Where the Disney farm is, we'll be passing it first. And later, down past there, this is where you will have dinner tonight, as well as some very special treats that I'm not going to give away quite yet, but you'll see all the volunteers busily working to make your evening spectacular. This is the Disney home. I'm going to give you a little snippet about that. Is a home within a home. The original Disney home is inside that home. When they built on, they kept the original in it. So when you go in it, Walt's room is still there, and the antique part of it is still there originally, but then it has been added on. So from the outside, it does not look like that, but when you go inside, it is still preserved as the Disney rooms. So it's a home within a home. But Ma Vic's is on the corner. They have this, we call that the old Allen Hotel building. The Mexican restaurant, and J&J's is down at the end. And this is definitely going to be a welcome party. There's our post office right here.
Oh my god.
What is this? Look at this. Oh my gosh, how sweet is this?
You're going to be welcomed by children of Marceline. We're going to do every stop along the way, the different trains, and they'll have information, QR codes at all the spots on the sign also. So you guys can start unloading.
So cute. This is already so charming and adorable, and these little drawings and everything is so like handmade. It's just so cute. So this is apparently the Midget Autopia. I can already see the little vehicle. So this is a miniature version Autopia that Walt Disney brought over to Marceline. But it was only running for about 10 years, I believe, before it kind of started deteriorating and breaking down. And the city just couldn't afford to keep it up. But they still have the track for it. And then today they're bringing out the vehicle, which is really, really sweet. guess children take the tunnel when they go to school. It seems super sketchy. Alright, not as bad as I thought. I'm already so happy. This is just super nerdy and I love it. It's just a really palpable energy. Everyone is so happy. The town is clearly happy to have people here and excited to have tourists. So it's just an overall very joyous feeling in the air. And the weather is incredible. What a perfect day. I just noticed here, it's Missouri and California crossing, two very important places to Walt Disney. Here's the school, and I see event entrance, so I'm assuming it's this way. Currently just wandering around the school alone. I don't see anybody. No idea if this is where I'm supposed to be. This feels really awkward. Yeah, I'm almost positive I was in the wrong spot. I think I need to go to the elementary school. I'm passing by the middle school now. I think it's just around the corner here. Now I'm seeing people, so I think we're going the right way. We just took a little detour through the high school, apparently. Yeah, we're starting to see the sign, Walt Disney Elementary. So here is Walt Disney, like Disney Elementary. I don't think Disney actually went to this school, but it was rededicated to him. Walt Disney Elementary, where the magic of learning begins. How adorable.
So yeah,
This is really
it's
cool.
kind of a fun place to check out. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. And if you need me to take any pictures of anything, in front of anything, I'm happy to do that outside even. Oh, and you may want to check out the flagpole was a gift from Walt.
This is adorable.
From the Olympics. Very cool.
So here is art inside the school made by the Disney artists when Walt rededicated the school in his name. How cool is that? This clock is so charming.
And you've been to the museum.
Oh, we got Jose. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm one of the board members.
Very cool.
Yeah, I don't work for Disney anymore. I love your shirt.
Oh,
Where
thank
you guys
you.
visiting from?
St. Louis.
Is everything okay?
That was cool. Also Fallon, so wait, his sister lives in Chesterfield, and she goes, "You guys are okay. It's when it moved
More art.
on. That's when it got."
I saw pictures from the zoo.
Very, very cool. So there is a former cast member in the lobby answering questions and just kind of giving advice and just being overall very, very helpful. But yeah, I guess all of these were made by a Disney artist for the school. So, so cool. Can you imagine going to school here and having all this art around you? Wow. Wow, what a super cool piece of Disney history that very few people, I imagine, actually get to experience. We're back over by Midget Autopia. We'll head over to the museum, I think. Here are some really sweet letters from Madeline Wheeler, who was Walt Disney's secretary, to Walt's sister Ruth. They're really, really cute, and this paper is all adorable. Here's a letter from, or here's a quote from Walt's sister's son saying that she didn't want to go to the opening of Disneyland. So Walt gave her money to buy a TV set so she could watch it. That is adorable. That's so, so sweet. He really wanted his baby sister to see the opening of his big park. So Teddy was Ruth's son's name. Very cute. Here's some pictures. To be honest, this is really overwhelming. There's so much information and I don't have all day, so I'm trying to absorb what I can without getting too overwhelmed. I'm just gonna soak it all in. I definitely will be back here. I can already tell it's longer than my last time. walk around the upstairs, they have models of all of the attractions that Disney was involved with, like Main Street USA, the castle, obviously, Matterhorn. It's really, really cool. There's so much to see. I can't record it all, and I don't really want to. I want to be able to enjoy it as well, but wow, I could spend hours in here, and there's no one else here right now. It's really, really a special time. There's Fowler's Inn, which is still at Disneyland now. This looks like the Jungle Cruise over here. Nope, this is the Tiki Room. Wow, cool. This looks like Adventureland. Wow, iconic. Really is a beautiful building. Here's a recreation of Disney's childhood school. Very cute. That was wonderful. So cool. I actually stayed so long. I am way past my lunch reservation time that they offered us. I don't think they have vegan options anyways, so I'm gonna pop in, see if, number one, they have a vegan option, number two, if it's too late for my reservation. Otherwise, I have a protein bar in my bag, just as always, as a backup. So for lunch, they gave us these vouchers. It's a $15 value, but because I'm vegan, I'm ordering off the menu, the set menu they offered. I ordered a pizza, no cheese, with some veggies. We'll see how it is, but at least I get $15 off. Here is my pizza I created, so no cheese, extra veggies. Not too bad. Post office, and I got my exclusive Where the Dream Began postage stamp, just pretty cool. But inside the post office, they have little Disney touches, all of those stamps, and apparently they have metal videos, and then a couple pictures of the hometown heroes. Very cool. This building is named in honor of Walt Disney. Very, very cool. I think it's the first federal building, maybe only building, to be named after Walt.
You can't leave Marceline without having a Dusty Miller, so please enjoy. First of all, I want to say thank you to the city of Chillicothe for the reception last night. Amy and the team really knocked it out of the park, and I'm so excited to have Toasty there. And share some of the desserts from the local vendors in the city. So it was a really special evening. So thank you to the city of Chillicothe for all of that. And I also want to say, of course, thank you to the entire city of Marceline, Kay and Sumner, and everyone at the Hometown Museum have just been spectacular. You know, we were walking around yesterday in the city, and everyone was just excited for everyone to come into town. They're mowing their lawns, they're painting the fences, they're baking pies. I mean, they are just going all out for Disney to come. And it was really special that the whole community just really rallies behind this and to see everyone here. So we're very excited. I also want to say thank you to Justin and Paula on the D23 team for all of their efforts in organizing today as well. And I have to say thank you to Walt Disney, not only for growing up here, but for the beautiful weather he gave us today. He was looking overhead and knew that this needed to be a special day for everyone. So, the official voice of Mickey Mouse. So please welcome Brett Iwan and another special guest who actually has a home here in Marceline, a recent resident and historian who wrote the book on how to eat like Walt Disney. So please welcome Marcy Character Smothers. Thank you.
Hi, Brett.
Hi, Marcy. Are you going to eat your Dusty Miller while we're up here?
You know, I enjoy the treat, but I want to keep my slow.
Yeah, I don't think people want to see me eat right now.
You know, I just want to start out, if you don't mind me saying this, guys, first of all, I'm a writer, but I'm really, and a researcher, I'm really just a Disney geek, you know, I'm really the reader as much as I am the writer, and sitting here with Brett Island is a real treat, and I think, Brett, you probably have the single biggest flex in all of Disney.
You think so?
Well, you know, because I happen to read a lot about Walt and study Walt, but you're only the second person in the entire world that has voiced Mickey Mouse and been the official artist of Mickey Mouse, and the other person was Walt Disney, so props to you on that.
Also, like Walt, I was a Missouri resident.
Tell us about your time. Okay, tell us about that time.
I've said before, as I've come back to visit Marceline, I kind of feel like I come home when I come to Marceline, because I lived in Kansas City, Missouri for 5 years.
Brett and Marcy just finished their little conversation. That was really, really sweet. Lots of nice insights into both their backgrounds and the way they knew Walt. Lots of fun stories. But now we have a few hours just to wander around, which makes me feel a little bit better. I was feeling a little stressed to see everything, but now I'm just going to wander, explore a few areas, take some pictures, and just enjoy this weather because it is exceptional. I did learn that typically this tour has about 100 people on it. I think it's closer to 150 on this group, which I'm very surprised by. I don't know what I expected, but I feel like that is quite a bit larger than I thought it would be. Maybe closer to 80, 90, or 100 at the most, but 150, that's a lot. And they sold out, so that's a lot of people that signed up for this tour, and honestly, I'm really enjoying it. I definitely wouldn't do this every year, mostly for cost, but it's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime thing to do at least. I for sure want to come back here on my own. The tour has been really, really special though. I'm now walking down to the Walt Disney Park where they have that first swimming pool. I want to see where all the hubbub happened when that dedication took place. It's about a 10 to 15 minute walk, so I'm just gonna walk on down there. I have about an hour before the bus leaves, so no rush. Here we are, we've made it to the park. I can see the pool behind the sign. The Walt Disney Municipal Park. I believe it was 1956 that they officially changed the name in recognition of Walt Disney, and that is the time they unveiled the pool as well, which is over here. It appears they now have the pool covered up so they can use it year round. I'm not sure I'll be able to get in actually. Try to take a peek, but I assume this big white balloon is the pool. Yeah, it is locked. We'll take a walk around. Maybe we can find a plaque or something. It's actually kind of impressive. I've never seen an outdoor public pool quite like this. But apparently 6,000 people attended this dedication to Walt Disney for this pool. So can you imagine this space filled with 6,000 people? Again, the population of the town is like 2,500. So it's amazing that many people came to see Walt and Roy and their wife. Incredible. You can hear the trains constantly coming through this town. I'm curious what they are now carrying and where they're going. It really gives the town a kinetic feel and a very old school charm to it, that is for sure. I found the loveliest little mural. I'll try to get it all. Very charming. That's about it for our time in Marceline. The buses have arrived. We're going to be getting on to head to the Disney Family Farm. No, so the fun's not over, but time to say goodbye to Main Street USA and head out to dinner. This has been really, really fascinating. Such a unique Disney experience. I highly recommend it, whether it's on a tour or on your own. A very, very cool experience. This is beautiful as the sun is starting to set and the breeze is blowing. Wow, it really feels like something special.
Thanks.
Can I get the first class fizz, please?
That's your space, all right. You just want one bag of ice? Yeah. Can I do like this? Oh! Yeah? That's what you're the... Yeah. You don't want to... With the alcohol?
There you are.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. I think we're gonna head down to the barn now. Wow, it's gorgeous. I gotta turn the camera around. This is incredible. Oh my god, Mickey's here. That is so cute. Okay, change of plans before the line gets too long. We're gonna head over and meet Mickey. I managed to snag a photo of Mickey just before he left. So cute, those overalls, this background. What an ideal spot for a photo op, wow. Definitely the most unique spot I've met Mickey, I think. I've met him in Alaska, but this is extra special.
This really, it really does look like a replica. The replica.
Oh,
So they're going to be putting this beam inside the barn and we get to sign it or write a message to Walt or Barry. How special.
Anywhere.
What do you want to write? Archival that will never go away.
So how was that run from?
It wasn't from here.
Okay, I was trying to picture.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and then we've gone.
I just got in the barn. There's Brett behind me getting his photo taken, but wow, seeing all those signatures of people really shows you even more the influence and how much impact Walt had on the world. I mean, all those names in front of you, you see it. I mean, you see it in the park, all these people, but all these people who come out, sign their names on these boards and on his barn is really touching.
Please welcome Sumner Nesbitt.
All right, we good? All right, so before I forget, if you did not receive a red bandana, that is a gift from our museum to you. Please make sure you get one before the end of the night. Also, at the end of the evening, there will be a few other gifts before you board the bus. If you drove here separately, please make sure that you go towards the house on this side, because if you go this way towards the cars, you will not see where the tables for the other gifts are. A lot of love for Marceline. But one of the things that he loved about Marceline was the sense of community that he experienced here. He has this memory about how during the harvest season, he used to see how the people of Marceline would go from one farm to another to help each other out, when they needed it. And that sense of community was something that stayed with Walt throughout the rest of his life. Neil Gabler, in his biography of Walt Disney, said that Walt would actually try to recreate those feelings he had in that sense.
To say this was the really fancy topiary shrubs. I was very impressed with those. And we rode the merry-go-round with my brother-in-law and my nephew, who was 3 at the time. And we went to that cinema on Main Street, USA, and sat through a story. And yeah, there was Uncle Don on the screen. That's when I knew, there's something going on here. So let me share my story. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. In 1938, on the occasion of Marceline's 50th anniversary, Walt Disney wrote for the Marceline News. I went with my family to live in Marceline when I was 5 years old, and I stayed there until I was 9. I clearly remember the day we arrived there on the train. A Mr. Kaufman met us in his wagon, and we rode out to our house in the country, just outside the city limits. I believe it was called the Crane Farm. My first impression of it was that it had a beautiful front yard with lots of weeping willow trees. It was indeed the Crane Farm. William E. Crane was my great-great-uncle, and he lived here for 27 years before he died in November 1905. When the Disney family moved to this farm in 1906, their neighbors across the road were Erastus and Elizabeth Taylor, my great-grandparents. And to correct Sumner, less than a quarter of a mile down the road, in the opposite direction, lived my other great-grandmother, Emma Phillips, grandparents M.H. and Bertha Phillips Taylor, and their young family of 4. Now, coincidentally, my uncles, Jean and Don, who were 18 and 16, were the same age as Herb and Ray. My Aunt Winifred, who was 13, was the same age as Roy. And Uncle Ken was near Ruth's age, close to 3. Living out here in the country, surrounded by our clan, the Disney family naturally became friends. Erastus, a Civil War veteran, entertained Walt with tales from the war. Walt later recalled, I don't think he ever was in a battle in the Civil War, but he was in all of them. And Walt was right. Erastus spent most of his enlistment in the hospital at Jefferson Barracks in St. Louis, recovering from smallpox. He was quite likely recycling stories from fellow soldiers, including W.E. Crane, who was also a Civil War veteran. Flora Disney joined the Rural Home Circle, a new social club for local farm women and girls. My great-grandmothers Elizabeth and Emma, grandmother Bertha, and Aunt Winifred were also members. Formed to relieve the dreary monotony of winters and springs, those monthly Friday afternoon meetings were rarely missed. I have with me a book containing minutes from the Rural Home Circle meetings. Called to order by President at the home of Mrs. Pat Kelly. Roll call was answered by a current event. 21 members were present. After the collection was taken, totaling $1.30, the following was noted. Motion made and carried to present Mrs. Disney a souvenir teaspoon. Mrs. Pendle and Irene Haney appointed to purchase the same. Mrs. Disney is moving to Kansas City to make her future home. Dainty refreshments were served. Uncle Ken and Clem Flickinger, the neighbor boy who lived just down the road between the Disneys and the Taylors, were both enlisted to help with the circus in the barn, for which young Walt charged admission. Uncle Ken remembered these three friends transforming farm critters into exotic species. We all know the rest of this story. Mrs. Disney made Walt return all the money he earned that afternoon. A few years later, when Elias sold the farm, Uncle Gene helped move the Disneys into town, where they lived until the school year was over. Uncle Don recalled taking the train to visit the family later in Kansas City. My cousin Marge remembered the reception my grandmother held for the Disney family when Walt and Roy brought their parents back to Marceline to visit old friends and neighbors. The following is an excerpt from a family history written by Uncle Ken for the time capsule installed in Ripley Park on July 4th, 1988. It might be interesting to recall how some of the early settlers entertained themselves and families. At this time, people are interested in anything involving the Disneys, which will probably still be the case when this time capsule is opened 50 years hence. The Disneys were close friends of our family, and frequently on Sunday afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. and Walt and Ruth would visit our home. Mr. Disney, as well as our father, was rather strict when it came to fun and games on Sunday. We could not play croquet nor ball of any kind. We could play hide and seek if we didn't yell and make a lot of noise. Those restrictions limited our activity to mumble peg and a card game called Old Maid. About 4 or 4:30, the guests would all get in their horse-drawn buggies or mount their saddle ponies, head for home to do the evening chores, and get ready for hard work the next day, anticipating the entire week another happy, musical Sunday afternoon. It is obvious people made their own entertainment in those days, and it was clean, simple, and usually from a God-given talent. So ends another recollection in my 88-year-old mind of the early 1900s.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you for selling me that beautiful painting earlier today. Apologies to anybody on my flight tomorrow when I put it in the overhead bin.
The family could never have the butter. They would keep selling it. They would never, ever eat the butter. He wanted every last cent. You want to add to that? So we have Walt telling
That woman tempted me down in paradise. That woman tempted me, though she took me for a ride. I love you much more inside I need a place to hide.
history of Walt and his legacy, and so I thought, I gotta at least try. And as you may have guessed, I did get cast into that role. 16 years ago, actually, in just a couple weeks will be my 16th anniversary, so thank you. But I love that part of my journeys has the Kansas City aspect to it, because again, just being a huge Walt Disney nerd, that's not lost on me that I was growing as an artist right next to where Walt started the Laugh-O-Gram studio, literally right across the street from Union Station, where he got on the train and made that fateful trip to Hollywood. You know, I could go on and on about the history of the voice of Mickey, and I hope that indicates how much it means to me that I'm aware of the history. And so all I've tried to do for 16 years is have that voice in the back of my head that says, remember kid, you're only filling in for the boss. Because I'm Mickey number 4, there's gonna be Mickeys after me. And you know, it's all about just preserving that character that Walt started, because I truly believe that the power of Mickey is that he's not chasing trends, or he's not changing to meet, you know, some, I don't know, like social media moment, right? Like, he is at his core the character that he started as over 95 years ago. And I think that's what's going to propel him for another 95 years. So yeah, I get to play a very small part in that legacy, but I know, I'd say over 95 years because I can't do the math right now, but we're getting very close. What, we're 97?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at 97.
I only remember because Brett was the official artist of the Mickey portrait for his 95th birthday, which he was the first person ever to have voiced Mickey and done the official portrait. Think about that. That's pretty cool.
I didn't think about it at the time. I think that would have freaked me out. But yeah, that's a pretty amazing, a very, very cool honor to have had as well. My third time.
Third time, okay. Many, that's one more than
times.
me, okay? One more than me. I've only been here twice. But what's something that you've taken away from your visits here to Marceline?
Oh my gosh, I mean, you can't help but smile when you come to Marceline. And a big part of that is, like, you know, we're out in a beautiful countryside. We're around nice people, which is so common in so many Midwestern towns. But I think I said this in my last visit, there's something special about Marceline. And Michael mentioned this at his opening remarks tonight when he said, you know, everyone in the town was painting their fences and mowing their lawns and getting ready. And that is a palpable thing, that when you show up at an event here in Marceline, you can tell how much their community history involving Walt means to them. And it's so tangible, it just makes for such a happy experience. And you, in turn, feel like you're part of their community, which I think is so unique, because there's plenty of small towns you can walk into and they're like, who are you? You know? But everyone in Marceline has been so welcoming and so loving. And I said earlier today, a part of me feels like I'm coming home. One, because of, you know, Kansas City's, I don't think is that far away, and so I feel like I was a Missourian for 5 years. But I think more so it has to do with the true nature of Marceline and the community here. So that's my biggest takeaway. Is it's no surprise to me that this was so impactful, and it was a place that Walt referenced his entire life.
And I've been with Disney about as long as you, and working in the parks and working in the archives, and you're surrounded by, you know, hundreds of thousands of cast members and employees who love everything about Disney and want to preserve it and care about the history. But coming somewhere like this, for me, you're coming to this community of people who that's everything to them, and it's so cool to meet and have community with these people who are preserving this legacy.
Absolutely.
That's over 100 years old now, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And we really are so thankful to our friends here, Kay and Sumner and Chris and everybody here who have made all of this possible for all of us to still be able to come here and enjoy all of this. So let's, one more little round of applause for them.
Dinner is over, you can hear the frogs, you can see the fireflies. Pretty soon there's going to be fireworks.
And many of those memories would go on to inspire some of his future projects that we see as iconic today. For example, the first time Walt Disney ever saw fireworks was right here on the Disney farm over the 4th of July holiday. And to him, it was the perfect kiss goodnight. So, a few years ago, two Disney legends, Floyd Norman and Richard Sherman, collaborated on a storybook called A Kiss Goodnight, where they followed Walt's journey from a boy here on the Disney farm all the way through the creation of Disneyland. And Walt wanted to thank his guests for coming with A Kiss Goodnight, just like he saw here in Marceline. So we would like to thank you guys for coming with our own Kiss Goodnight fireworks. If you guys would like to go ahead and head out to the field behind me, you'll get to see our Kiss Goodnight fireworks right here on the Disney farm, just like Walt Disney did for the first time.
As you can see, I'm back at the hotel. What a day. That was absolutely amazing. I feel emotionally and physically exhausted. Having dinner at the Disney farm was incredible. Like, who can say they've done that? And then the fireworks after were really phenomenal. Just the perfect kiss goodnight. I'm so grateful to be here. I feel really, really satisfied with how much I paid, with what we got. The whole town really felt like it came together and put on a great, not show, but really showed us a great time. That's the best way I can describe it. I would absolutely come back to Marceline, probably not for another Disney event. I probably would come on my own now that I've done the big Disney event. I feel comfortable coming on my own maybe in a year or two again, just to explore a little bit. I highly recommend this type of trip if you can swing it, if you have the opportunity. I'm a D23 Gold member, so I had the opportunity to book this trip. I'm not sure if they offer this type of thing to other groups of people, but if you can, do it. Oh, I almost forgot. As we were getting on the bus, they gave us this beautiful poster. I'm really, really happy. It's totally my aesthetic. And I will absolutely be hanging this on my wall. Yeah, it's so cute. It even has its initials. It has Mickey coming out of the steam engine. Some people on there. I'm not sure who designed this, but whoever did, they did a great job. And since I'm driving, I don't have to worry about it getting wrinkled or ruined or anything. And on the back, it has D23 2025. So it's these little touches that really make the D23 events really special and feel like they really don't try to cheap out on you. They really do take care of you and give you some nice stuff. They also gave us a whistle. Let me go get that. They also gave us this whistle. It's just really cute. It has the name of the tour, D23 All Aboard Marceline tour. So that's a really, really unique souvenir. I'm glad I didn't buy much at the store. The only thing I bought at the family museum was a magnet and maybe like a couple pins, but that's it. So I'm glad I got some really unique things I can't even buy. So anyways, I hope you all enjoyed following along. Please leave any questions. If you've been to Marceline, let me know your experience. Let me know what I missed. If you would come back, if you've done this tour, let me know if it was any different. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.